emphasis on their statements and on their aqwal. We conclude this topic today, but with very interesting facts. In particular, कि वो लोग जिनका ताल्लुक देवबंदी मकतबे फिक्र से है, वो मौलिद की सख्त मुखालिफत करते हैं currently. In particular, the group which belong to the Deoband school of thought, they're quite aggressive in terms of disregarding the validity of the Mauleed, as well as to give labels, various labels, to those people who celebrate Mauleed. So what we'll try and do today, we'll look into what has been said and written by the founders of Deobandism, what beliefs they held, and is the current Deobandi Maktaba Fikr on it, or they have deviated from their own path. We'll try and understand that. Just to begin with, a great scholar which pretty much everyone they are familiar with, Hazrat Allama Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti Rahmatullahi Ta'ala Ali. He's from 869 Hijri. A time back, a great mufakkir, a great muhaddis, a person who wrote several iconic books. The books which are till today, they are taught and studied by all schools of thoughts. What does he say? So he has a book which he wrote in particular on the topic of Mawlid of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Husn al-Maqsid fi Amal al-Mawlid. In his book he writes, and he says, إن أصل عمل المولد الذي هو اجتماع الناس وقراءة ما تيسر من القرآن ورواية الأخبار الواردة في مبدأ النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وما وقع في مولده من الآيات. The original way and form of the Milad of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, which is ijtima'un nas, people getting together, wa qira'atu ma tayassara min al-Quran, and reciting whatever is available for them to read from the Holy Quran, and then mentioning the waqiyat and the historic events that took place in the time of the birth of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And then he states about the niyaz as well. The terminology has changed. We call it niyaz. In Arabic they call it ta'am. So he stated that all of these actions that at the end you feed people, these actions, they are good actions. And then he stated that why do we class these acts of Mawlid as good acts? So he's saying, لِمَا فِيهِ مِنْ تَعْظِيمِ قَدْرِ النَّبِيِّ, because in this act is we are in respect to Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, respecting Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam by mentioning his Mawlid wa izharul farah, and expressing the joy. Now which believer in the month in which Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born is unhappy? Now to understand this more, you do have arguments, and this is something that people do fall for it. That look, Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he passed away on Monday, and he was born on Monday in Rabiul Awwal. So how can you rejoice on the day when Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away? This is the biggest argument, that it's a day of sadness. It's the day when you should be thinking about Prophet ﷺ's death, and instead you are talking about the birth of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Now listen to this answer. This is also from Hazrat Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti Rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, that he has mentioned in his book Husn al-Maqsid as well as Al-Hawil al-Fatawa. So he says, إِنَّ وِلَادَتَهُ آدَمَ النِّعَمِ عَلَيْنَا. The wiladat and the birth of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the greatest ni'mat of Allah Azza wa Jal, is the greatest favor of Allah Azza wa Jal. وَوَفَاتُهُ أَعْظَمُ الْمَصَائِبِ لَنَا. And passing away of Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam is the greatest difficult time for the believer and for the ummah. हुजूर की पैदाइश ये सबसे बड़ी नेमत अल्लाह की है, और हुजूर की वफात, हुजूर का इस दुनिया से जाना, ये सबसे बड़ा सदमा मुस्लिम उम्मत के लिए है. What does the Sharia say then? والشريعة حثت على إظهار شكر النعم والصبر والسكون والكتم عند المصائب. The Sharia and the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that you should express your joy when you attain any bounty from Allah. But when you come across any difficulty, what do? You should do sabr, as well as your sabr has to be hidden. You do not express that you are doing sabr on passing away of someone. And then another hadith which Rasul Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam he stated, hayati khairun lakum. My life and me being within you physically is good for you. Wa mamati khairun lakum. And my death, me passing away physically from the dunya, is also good for you. So the Sharia has commanded you and I that on the Masa'ib you have to be quiet and have sabr. Then how are you going to express that sabr? Because you will not be able to. So what do? You express the joy on the birth of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, keeping the words of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in mind, where Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam stated that hayati khairul lakum, my life is good for you. As well as Hazrat Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, he stated that Allah Azza wa Jal has commanded us when someone dies, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he commanded us and prohibited us that we should not show the kind of grief that looks like a person is being impatient. How are you going to show the grief on the death of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? And the second aspect, that it is the aqidah of Ahlul Sunnati wa Jama'at, that Anbiya in their graves they are alive. In the light of the hadith of Sunan Abu Dawud, Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stated that إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَرَّمَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ أَن تَأْكُلَ أَجْسَادَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Allah has made it haram upon the earth to eat the bodies of prophets. فَنَبِيُّ اللَّهِ حَيٌّ. So the prophets of Allah are hayy, not just hayy, yurzaq. Prophet said they are being given the sustenance. Now who is being given sustenance? People who are alive in the dunya, they need sustenance. Allah Azza wa Jal, He gives sustenance to the Anbiya in their graves. The meaning is Anbiya, they passed away to fulfill the promise of Allah Azza wa Jal, kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut, and after the death Allah gives them the life greater than their life which was on the face of earth. Inna Allah harrama ala al-ardi an takula as-sad al-anbiya fa nabiyullahi hayyun yurzaq. This aqidah is whose? Hazrat Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. Now, coming to what I mentioned earlier, कि देवबंदी मकतब फिक्र बड़ी शद्द-ओ-मद के साथ इस बात पे अड़े हैं कि मीलाद ये बिदअत है, मीलाद इसका कहीं कोई सबूत नहीं है. Now you need to understand that there are two great muhaddisun who happen to be from the subcontinent. One of them is Hazrat Waliullah Muhaddis Tahalwi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, and the second one is Sheikh Abdul Haq Muhaddis Tahalwi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. And both of these great personalities are the root and foundation of bringing ilm hadith and the ahadith to the subcontinent. As a result, majority of the scholars who studied the ahadith, and this includes the scholars from the Deobandi school of thought, when they attain their sanad of hadith and certificate of an ijazah of hadith, the roots reaches to these great personalities, one of them. Either it reaches to Shaykh Waliullah Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi, or it reaches to Shaykh Abdul Haq Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi. Now these both great Muhaddisun from subcontinent, what was their aqidah and belief in regards to the Mawlid of Rasul Kareem Sallallahu Ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? And we need to understand that these are not laymen, these are not the people who you can take them as a lowly scholars. These are the founders of hadith in subcontinent. So Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi's father, his name was Shah Abdul Rahim Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi. Now he has a book in which he mentioned the virtues and fadail of the Mawlid of Rasul Kareem Sallallahu Ta'ala alayhi Wasallam. The book is Ad-Durr Al-Thamin fi Mubashsharatin Nabiy Al-Amin. In his book he writes about his practice. And he says, كنت أصنع في أيام المولد طعاما صلة بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. In the Mawlid, days of Mawlid, I used to prepare ta'am, food, remembering Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. This was his practice. He would prepare food and distribute among people, rejoicing on the birth of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Then he says, فَلَمْ يُفْتَحْ لِي سَنَةً مِنَ السِّنِينَ شَيْءٌ أَصْنَعُ بِهِ طَعَامًا. One of the year, I did not find anything. He did not have money, basically, he's saying. So I could prepare the food and give it to the people. But he did not miss celebration of the Mawlid. What does he do? Now he says, I could not find anything إِلَّا حِمَّصًا مُقَلِّيًا فَقَسَّمْتُهُ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ, except some roasted peas that I found, and I distributed among people. قَسَّمْتُهُ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ, I distributed among people, rejoicing, expressing the joy on the birth of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Now he's saying that he had a dream. In his dream, he saw Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Yes? He is the father of the great Muhaddis Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi, who is taken as a leader by those people who very firmly oppose the Mawlid of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. He says, فَرَأَيْتُهُ sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I had a dream, and in that dream I saw Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, وَبَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ هَذَا الْحَمَّص. In front of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, the peas which I distributed, they were present in front of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and I saw Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam mutabahhijan bashashan. I saw Rasul Kareem extremely happy in my dream. Now we know very well that when an individual has a dream of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, जब किसी को ख्वाब में रसूल करीम का दीदार होता है तो वो नबी का ही दीदार होता है, क्योंकि शैतान हुजूर के बेत में नहीं आ सकता. हज़रत शाह वलीउल्लाह मुहद्दिस दहलवी के वालिद शाह अब्दुल रहीम वो फरमाते हैं कि जो मैंने नबी के नाम पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया था वो हुजूर के सामने मैंने देखा अपने ख्वाब में. This was Hazrat Shah Abdul Rahim Dahalwi. Now come to Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi, one of the greatest muhaddis of the time, and whose sanad, we have a copy of Mishkah Sharif, which is published by Bushra. Okay, at the beginning they have produced a sanad of hadith, ijazah of hadith, from Deobandi Maktab-e Fiqh. Okay, and in that sanad, the sanad reaches to Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi. Now this great muhaddis, whose sanad and ijazah is being taken around by people who oppose the Mawlid, what does he say about the Mawlid of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam? Let's look at his words. Hazrat Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dahalwi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi, and he says, كنت قبل ذلك بمكة المعظمة في مولد النبي في يوم ولادته. I was in Makkah al-Mukarramah on the day of the Mauleed of Rasul Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Now what people were doing? وَالنَّاسُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ وَيَذْكُرُونَ إِرْهَاصَاتِهِ الَّتِي ظَهَرَتْ فِي